Hello, my name is Ricardo Enrique Mendárez Godoy, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to this multilingual educational video. We will be addressing both English teachers and English language learners with the purpose of sharing practical strategies to foster the teaching and assessment of oral and written expressions and interactions. Our main goal is simple: to show how these skills can be developed in a more dynamic and effective way in the classroom. After all, speaking and writing are not just about completing a task, but about communicating ideas, interacting, and building meaning. This material is especially designed for teachers. They will find useful resources to apply in their classes. However, it might also help students recognize the importance of practicing and constantly improving these competencies. Now, what does it really mean to teach and assess oral and written expressions and interactions? It means creating real opportunities for practice, where students can use the language in authentic context. It also means designing creative and engaging activities that foster motivation, and of course, it means assessing with clear criteria, taking into account not only accuracy, but also fluency, coherence, and the ability to interact with others. Throughout this video, we will see concrete examples: how to teach vocabulary, how to integrate music into learning, strategies to improve both oral and written expressions, and finally, evaluation criteria along with practical recommendations. So I invite you to join us in this journey, which will surely be helpful to enrich the way we teach and learn a language.
Hi, greetings to everyone watching this video. This is Mr. Perez, and right now I'm going to give you some tips on how we can apply strategies, how we can apply methodology to teach vocabulary for a specific topic. The topic that right now I'm going to give you the tips about is daily routines. So when we're talking about daily routine, there is a lot of things that we can try to do. As an example, as I told you, we're going to focus on strategies, vocabulary, and methodology on how we can apply this, okay? Remember that as teachers, we can use our own strategies and methodology, but this is just a guide. So, starting with the vocabulary, guys, we need to focus on something real simple, okay? Since we're going to be teaching this, these are some of the examples of the vocabulary that we're going to teach. For example, when we're talking about daily routines, we need to focus on simple present verbs. For example, I wake up, I go to sleep, and so on. Also, we're going to be focusing on frequency adverbs. Remember that with frequency adverbs is how often we do the activities, being always the one that we do the most, and never the one that we normally we never do. Some of the strategies that we can do in this case, remember that as teachers, we can apply the ones that are better with us. One of the one that I do recommend is that we can start with personal questions to the students. Why? So we can make them feel important during our class. We can ask one student, what do you normally do in your daily day? He's going to answer, and then we can use that as an example. With that, our students are going to feel important during our class. Also, one of the methodologies that I do recommend is the project-based learning. Why, you might be asking? Because it will give us a clear idea on what the students are learning and what the students are capable of doing. For example, if we teach something, then we're going to apply it. Why? Because the student will be able to do it, and then we can improve the level on what are they going to do. And now you might be asking, how is it that we're going to apply this? For example, if we're going to use technology, I just prepared a quick lesson over here. We're going to make a click over here, and then we have this little activity in the app word wall, which is that we're going to match the words in this case with the definitions based on the images. So for example, go to school, and then we're going to focus on this one. Remember that, as I told you, never and always is how often we do that thing. So we're going to focus never, we're going to associate it with a happy face. And with this is a great idea on how we can do the things over here.
teaching oral expressions through music. Hello everyone, today I want to show you how music can transform the way we teach and learn oral expressions in the language classroom, especially when it comes to everyday vocabulary like daily routines. Why music? Because it's memorable, emotional, and rhythmic. When students sing or listen to lyrics, they're not just memorizing, they're feeling the language. And when we pair music with movements, visuals, and interactions, we activate multiple learning channels at once. In this activity, we use a communicative language teaching approach supported by the national method and audiolingual techniques. That means students learn through real communication and repetitions with rhythm, not just grammar drills. Here is how it works. We start with a brainstorm of daily activities, like wake up, brush teeth, eat breakfast. Then I play a song on a guitar or watch a video on a singer performing the song that includes daily routines actions. I'm gonna give you an example. Every day, what do you do every day? Every day, what do you do every day? I take a bath, I take a bath every day. I brush my teeth, I ride my bike every day. Students listen, pick out the main verbs and organize them by morning, afternoon, and evening. When we practice pronunciation and intonation using the song's rhythm, then comes the fun part. Role play and lyrics rewriting. Students describe their own routines, improvise dialogues, and even rewrite verses using their own lives. Finally, they present their day in my life orally, using the vocabulary they've internalized through music. Music helps students improve fluency and pronunciation, retains vocabulary through music repetitions, build confidence in oral interactions. So, if you are looking for one strategy, music is your ally. Let's make language learning feel like some students want to sing.
Hello everybody, my name is Christopher Coleman. I am a student from the Master in Didactics in Languages and Culture.
Today I'm excited to share some effective techniques for developing oral expression in an English class focusing on the topic of daily routines. Our goal is to get the student speaking confidently and clearly. I'm going to propose two activities. First, we use flashcards. Imagine these cards have simple questions like what time do you wake up or what do you usually do first in the morning. For this activity, students interview a partner about their daily routine using these flashcards. Afterwards, each student presents their partner's routine to the class. Flashcards are wonderful because they help students practice vocabulary and expressions quickly and visually, making learning memorable. They also promote self-access, allowing students to check their understanding, and importantly, they encourage pair or group work, fostering collaboration. This approach aligns with methodologies like communicative language teaching and task-based language teaching, as students are actively communicating to complete a specific task. Secondly, to take oral practice a step further, we can use role plays. Students can imagine they are a famous YouTuber or a singer, and their partners interview them about their famous daily routine. Role plays are excellent for focusing on real-life communication, not just grammar rules. They help learners use language authentically in simulated situations. They encourage fluency over perfect accuracy, which builds students' confidence. And just like flashcards, they support collaborative learning and critical thinking as students interact. Both these activities create engaging ways for students to use English to describe their daily lives, building their confidence and fluency in oral expression. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Eric and I will talk about the strategy and methodology for teaching writing expression. First of all, we have to mention that writing expression is not just about writing and following grammatical rules. We have to follow some steps in organizing ideas and communicating for a clearer message to the recipient. If we consider this, we have many steps that we have to follow if we want to get a better writing. One of the steps is brainstorming, planning, drafting, reviewing, and editing, and the other one is publishing. And this is optional. That means that if you wanted to do it. Something very important for an effective writing is define the audience and what we want to achieve and get feedback. This is a guide that shows whether the writing process is on track or need improvement. One of the examples is when we are learning daily routine and frequency number, because we need all the steps mentioned to create a suitable writing. We must give ideas related to the daily routine. That means brainstorming and then start writing and get to the feedback to do it better. Some of the ideas that we can use for writing expression are use creative tools and activities like writing journals or prompt, collaborative stories, digital writing like blogs, interactive presentation, educational platforms such as Padlet, Canva, Google Docs. Another one is free and creative writing, like sample, personal journal, micro stories, alternative ending, letter, graphic organizer, diagrams, mind maps, outlines, etc. Another way, if you want to improve this, it's writing workshop. It's just to get a new techniques, advantages, a new format, and get fast recommendation for a better process of writing.
Hi everybody, my name is Hazel Aguilar, and in this part of this video, I'm gonna give you some general evaluations that you can use for your oral expressions and written expressions activities. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some recommendations for you to put them into practice in your classes. Let's begin. Let's begin with the general evaluation for your oral expressions and written expression. Number one is the active participation. The students are always involved in the class activities. The number two is the oral expression. The students can produce simple but clear sentences. The number three is the oral interaction. The students respect the speaking tours, listen to peers, answer properly. The number four is the written expression. The student is able to write short, simple sentence or paragraph using the vocabulary and grammar taught by the teacher. And the number five is the attitude and disposition. The students show interest, motivation, and respect during the activities, demonstrating a positive approach to learning. Now I'm going to give you some type of evaluation that you can use in your activities. The number one is the diagnostic evaluation. This type of evaluation is for identifying the prior knowledge of the student. The number two is the self-evaluation. In this evaluation, the students reflect on their own performance. The number three is the peer evaluations. The students give feedback to their classmates, and the last one is the teacher evaluation, in which the teacher observes and evaluates the students during the activities. To finish this video, I'm going to give you some final recommendations that you can use in your class activities. Number one is that the best teaching method is the one that fixes better to the students' needs, learning styles, and context. The number two is the continuous evaluation. It is important that you can follow the students' learning during the process. The number three is the motivation and confidence. You have to try to motivate your students in all the process of learning. And the last one is the meaningful learning. It is important to connect vocabulary and grammar to real life situations. This is all from my part. Thank you so much.